Back to school means buses are back on the road, and we want everyone to be safe this semester. Here with back to school safety tips is Glenn Simpson with Community Ambulance. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon.
So are most of the incidents involving buses? What are the incidents that are happening out there?
Yeah, so obviously kids are back in school, buses are back out, buses are moving again, and typically what we see is the children within the ages of 4 to 7, they're typically walking, and they're the ones that are involved in either, unfortunately, an injury or death as a result of a
Oh my gosh. Now, for parents and drivers, anyone out there, what are some tips we should adhere to this semester?
Yeah, so it's obviously been a little bit since our kids have been back in school, so they're back walking, they're back getting themselves back to school, and they're doing that various ways. They're we want to remind folks to take their time when they're out in those school zone, in those school areas. Kids are walking, kids are crossing the street, and so we want to make sure that they're being extra cautious. If you're in a school zone, avoid backing up. Don't want to back up in those areas. Kids are unpredictable. You don't always see the kids, and we don't want to hit them. What's
the rule with a school bus that stops, the arm comes out, and there's a stop sign, and you're on the other side? Should you stop every time, or does the divider come into play if you stop or not?
Yeah, always a difficult question, and I think I even question it myself when I'm going down the road. But what's important is if you see kids crossing, come to a stop. Right, let's get the kids get across the street. Always wait for that last kid, to get out and get across the street, and we want to be extra cautious in around those areas.
Now, parents, what are some tips that you can give to parents whose kids are heading back to school right now?
Yeah, so a couple of tips that we want to remind parents is plan your routes. Make sure your kids know the route to school and how to get back home. That way, if you weren't to, if your kid wasn't home at a certain time, you can take those same routes to try to find them. Make sure you check their clothing as they're heading out. Some kids are leaving really early, so it's still a little dark out, and so maybe some reflective clothing will help them. Also, make sure they're wearing a helmet, right? Kids these days are on scooters, they're even still on the Heelys, they're on bikes, and make sure they're wearing their helmet so that if they do hit their head, that they're well protected.
They're protected. And we were talking about something before the show about making eye contact, and that's very important, I think, for the driver and the student as well. Explain more.
Yeah, I think that rule applies to everyone, children and adults, right? When we're in a crosswalk, take that extra moment to make sure that eye contact is being made. Simple way to ensure that eye contact is being made is wave at the driver.
Wave at the person. I do that when I jog around the neighborhood. Just you see someone, you think they see you, but they're paying attention sometimes to their phone, their radio, or something else. Last question. You mentioned before the show that ID bracelets for students to wear. What's this?
Yeah, so if your kid does have any sort of known medical problems or any medical history, and there is an incident, as healthcare providers, we want to know what those incidents are. So as our paramedics arrive on scene, that little ID band can give us some immediate information to know what we're dealing with, and it also gives us a way to contact the parent, so including in case of emergency contact on that.
It's great stuff.
Bracelet as well.
Glenn, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Rocky, we'll send it over to you.